provided a bit of a punch for this Temple lineup. 1939 was the last time these two teams met in the city of brotherly love. We get set for Texas and Temple. Hal Lusk, Ray Natilli, our lead officials for this ball game today, and it'll be Texas basketball to start, coming off a 70-64 win over Vanderbilt, playing its first true road game. That'll be a test for these young players on the road in a true game for the first time this season. Holland misses, Ridley's there. Holmes with the third effort, and Texas on the board first.
Again, that's going to be a concern for Fran Dunphy. Texas is back to doing what they do best. Plus 10 per game on the glass. Early force in the lane for Texas.
Meanwhile, Temple coming off a 77-69 win, a Big 5 win over St. Joe's on Wednesday night, back and forth ball game. Here's Anthony Lee coming off a double-double in that game, and he knocks down his first attempt of the night.
The lefty is very comfortable on the perimeter facing that mid-range game.
Yancey on the deck. This is Holland, who we talked about. You'll see him aplenty over the course of the night. And Jonathan Holmes, Texas's leading scorer, is 2 for 2.
Well, Temple has to do a better job of closing out and also taking away that dribble drive into the gap, because Taylor, Holland, Yancey, they all can create angles for others.
Transfer from West Virginia, Pepper. Foul whistled on the floor against Kendall Yancey. Rick Barnes, for the first time in 17 years, missed the NCAA tournament last year, including his last few seasons at Clemson, and that had taken Texas to 15 straight NCAA tournaments. They missed last season. McDonald, the offensive rebound, and his first points of the season. He had played in 14 games in 2 years. He started the last 4, and he's on the board. Taylor comes back down, and it's 6-4 Texas.
That's where Texas can really bother people this season. They're going to run. And Rick Barnes' teams in the past have been kind of a grinded-out, toughness offensive team, get it in the paint. This team is transition plus.
Quick start on both sides. Lee in the post. Good defense by Holmes, and Ridley squares it. And this is Taylor pushing the pace. Lee comes away with it. Turnover for Texas.
Temple still has to get back and stop the ball quicker, as does Texas.
Good move by Cummings. He blew right past Holmes.
It's a treat to watch. The shot clock operator can take the day off. Both these teams are flying early out of the gate in Philly.
Fran Dunphy's team has won its last 3 ball games, 6 straight NCAA tournaments. They've beaten a ranked team 6 straight years as well. We were talking with Fran and Rick before the ball game today. These coaches kind of transcend the programs at times. You think, oh, this is a program that's going to struggle. They lost so much from the year before. Both of these teams have reloaded.
Well, they have, and Texas has not only reloaded, they've retooled their thinking of how they operate. And I like this Texas team. They've got a lot of talent. They can beat you in a lot of different ways.
Ridley jams it in inside. Good pass from Taylor with his head up. Cameron Ridley, the sophomore at 6'9", gives Texas a 2-point lead.
Well, when someone makes a comment, Adam, I like to follow it up with a reason. Why do you like them? Well, that's the reason I like Texas. Isaiah Taylor can push the pace.
Holland with the rebound. And again, Texas on the push. And it is Taylor all the way home. 5 straight makes for the Texas Longhorns. Taylor's got 4.
Who said Texas had some travel issues yesterday, and it's noon and it's cold and everything else? They're ready to play out of the gate today.
Pepper, they love to run him off screens for 3. 42% from downtown. The transfer from West Virginia buries his first field goal. Ridley. Lee with tough defense inside. Nearly got Ridley off track, but Cam Ridley with his second bucket.
You cannot guard Ridley after the catch. You have to defend him before the catch and make sure he doesn't get that post position right at the rim.
Thrown away by Cummings. Tight defense on the perimeter by the Longhorns. They don't want the ball in Ridley's hands out of the perimeter, and feels like for the first time Texas sets up offensively. Barnes had the number 4 recruiting class last year. This past season he had the number 27 class as Felix gets fouled. But with those 2 recruiting classes and a bunch of players transferring, 3 transfers, a couple of players trying to go pro, including Mike Kabongo, Rick Barnes has retooled this lineup. He's got a whole new look and a lot more pace for this team.
Well, I like what he's done. He's had to kind of retool and resettle the program, but when you've got guys like Taylor and Holland and Yancey on the perimeter and Ridley much improved inside, you've got a lot to work with. I like the look of this team. They get along, they've got nice chemistry, and they're tough on the glass.
Same starting 5 out there for Temple. Cummings a step back 3, and Felix with the rebound.
Good D by Taylor. Got right in his shorts and nice contest.
Felix and Taylor on the floor at the same time. They connect, and Taylor's got 6 points already for the Longhorns.
Right now, Temple's having an issue running back in transition and identifying and communicating and picking Texas up not only with the ball at the top, but their wings on the trailing down the floor. Isaiah Taylor is so hard to defend in the open court, but when you don't guard him at all, it's just impossible. Just Temple doesn't find the guy they have to find. They kind of got lost. I think they were looking for him at the top, and he drifted down to the baseline.
They find Cummings. That's a 3. Just missed back-to-back trays, and the rebound to Prince eBay. Leach was a high-level prospect last year. Lambert sets the screen. He was a high-level prospect the year before. eBay was too. Offensive rebound for Martez Walker, who's part of that recruiting class this season. Holland into Anthony Lee. Slapped by eBay. He recoils and scores. The 4th different Longhorn to score already.
That time DeCozy and Pepper were leaking out and not in the mix at all on the glass. They need to get involved for Temple to be successful today. If not, Texas is going to bury them on the glass.
That's where Texas has improved significantly from a year ago. They rotate to Pepper. Fires a 3. Walker the rebound. Felix on the push. DeCozy slipping through the defense, and Quentin DeCozy finishes strong, averaging 14 points a game this season.
It was a good push by Temple, and the reason they were able to do that is they secured the glass and they got involved in the paint.
Foul on Walker. Quentin DeCozy averaged 2 points a game last year, but he was their leading scorer on the summer trip and has improved a lot.
His shot selection at times can be questioned, but his talent is not. They love his length, his ability to get in the lane. He's also a good 3-point shooter. Hasn't shown it with the numbers yet, but they expect him to come alive this season from the perimeter.
Mark Williams, true freshman, comes in. Jimmy McDonald with a field goal in that opening stretch. Ridley, too easy. Lee just lost him, and Cam Ridley's got 6.
That's an issue. Anthony Lee just sometimes loses his man on the defensive end of the floor and is not in the right spots. And clearly, if you're not in the right spot against Cameron Ridley, that's what happens. He rattles the rim.
Out on the perimeter, Taylor whistled for the 3rd Texas foul.
That's a great example of the freedom of movement, with or without the basketball. That time Isaiah Taylor just had his hands planted on the offensive player, and that's a foul.
Holland comes back into the game for Texas. Lee over Ridley. Williams trying to get position inside, and he draws a quick bump. college basketball continues tonight on ESPNU with a doubleheader starting at 5 Eastern. Virginia, coming off a tough loss against Wisconsin, travels to Wisconsin to take on UW Green Bay. Then UNC Greensboro on the road to take on North Carolina. Both games, of course, available on Watch ESPN as well. The Tar Heels coming off the win over #1 Michigan State.
2-3 zone. Texas, they'll mix and match their defenses.
And Lee finds the cracks inside of it. He's got his second bucket, back down to a 5-point game.
Well, the activity of Lee on the baseline and in the middle of the floor is so important. They need some sort of presence offensively on the baseline and in the paint.
The Leafs try to slither a pass in. Here comes Cummings to Lee. And Lambert with good defense, and Lee is the last one to touch.
Good defense was played on the other end of the floor for Temple. Mark Williams did a nice job on the low box on Ridley, and he did a nice job against St. Joe's as well. But on the retreat, Lambert.
Taylor got past Cummings. The help came over from Williams. Count the basket and a foul. Isaiah Taylor off to a smoking hot start, averaging 11 a game. He's already got 8 tonight.
You must play Taylor angles and help early, and the help comes late on the backside, and the twisted turn to the rack for the exciting freshman.
Finishes off the three-point play. Taylor coming off a fantastic game against Vanderbilt, had 14 points and 8 assists, and only turned it over twice. Chipped in 5 boards as well in that solid win in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Lee traveled.
Well, if this pace continues for Texas, look for Fran Dunphy to mix and match his defenses and try to play a little bit of zone, just to somehow, some way slow down Texas in transition and into the gaps in half court. Right now, though, they've got to do a better job of getting back on defense and picking the basketball up before Texas puts that pressure on them in the lane and below the three-point line.
Cam Ridley at the free throw line. 6'9" sophomore out of Houston, was a McDonald's All-American, a huge recruit in several different ways last year for the Longhorns. He extends the largest lead to 9.
He's much improved. I like Ridley a lot. Rick Barnes said you just got to play him a little bit less just to keep him fresher at the end of games.
Sent a double at Pepper with Ridley coming over to help out. Williams looking into Watson, and good defense from Kroger, the freshman. Holland on the push, fading away, and he'll go to the free throw line as they'll whistle Will Cummings for his second foul. So Temple's leading scorer at the 11:27 mark of the first half has already picked up his second.
Well, the problem is not Will Cummings. He's trying to do it kind of by himself. Temple's defense as a whole has to go back and run to the paint and then fan back out to the perimeter and give help early, because if you're playing Texas guards one-on-one in the open court, that's an impossibility, and you see it early. They're getting great angles to the rim, and now Cummings is in foul trouble.
This is an area that Texas has to improve its free throw shooting. It's been very bad this season. It'll be Temple basketball. The Longhorns are averaging nearly 30 free throw attempts a game, but they're only hitting at a 60% clip. They're leaving a lot of points on the board right now in the early part of the season. Contact underneath as Pepper got knocked out. Get to Marcus Holland for the foul. That'll be his first. 5 already on the Longhorns. Pepper has had some big games already in the early part of the season. This is Josh Brown, a freshman who's contributed. Daniel Dingle, a sophomore from the Bronx, on the floor. Very young out there for both of these teams right now. Holmes corrals the rebound. Taylor has Croker with him. Going up top for him. And Dingle coming off the bench today. Made his first career start on Wednesday night against St. Joe's. And just made sure to explain to us it is 2 shots at the ball, as it is for flagrant 1 fouls because of the elbow from Holmes to Dingle above the shoulders. Dingle comes both shots. Temple will have the basketball. 9 minutes in. Largest lead of the game at 9 for Texas here. See if Temple can regroup out of that long break.
A little pop out of the air here. The spirit of the game with the 7-minute monitor review. I think that one thing they got to do is make a quicker decision. It wasn't that difficult.
Penetrate the zone. Dingle. A little Euro step there inside for the 6'7" sophomore. Quickly back the other way, Texas. They've been pushing the pace all half. Croker saved it. Here's Holmes into traffic. Holmes has 6.
Again, that's un-Temple-like. They need to step up and not let Holmes get that angle to the rim, because he is dangerous. You have to play him as a shooter, but as you can see, he's got a good face-up game and a good move to the rim.
Keep looking over at Fran Dunphy. His facial expressions are none too pleased. Pepper. Long arms of Cam Ridley deterred that shot. He squares the rebound, and Texas looking for its first double-digit lead of the game. Taylor couldn't connect, and a foul against the Longhorns. We'll get Cam Ridley on it.
That's his second, team 7.
It'll be 1-1 now for Temple, and Cam Ridley has picked up his second foul.
Ridley could have had a foul on the previous possession. Fran Dunphy was his best dance on the sideline to let the officials know that Ridley's body and his chest are being thrown around pretty freely underneath.
So Devontae Watson, the sophomore, to the line. I'll make that Mark Williams, I should say. Another freshman out of Cleveland. Top 55 power forward out of a great high school program in Montrose Christian. Stu Vetter, outstanding high school coach. That's where Kevin Durant played his prep school ball.
Temple's kind of, Adam, survived the first wave of Texas's onslaught,
right.
and the game has settled down a little bit, maybe helped by that delay in the flagrant foul review. So now they've settled back in the game where their defense now has to just keep Texas more on the perimeter, make them shoot a little bit more from the outside, and keep them out of the lane.
Taylor all the way to the rim, plus the foul. Isaiah Taylor having an outstanding first half. He's already got 11 points, and Josh Brown gets called for his first foul.
Well, what Texas does well is they space the floor, and they give Isaiah Taylor a lot of room to operate. You see on the perimeter out there with DeMarcus Howland in the corner that there's no help, and then the backside is real slow getting to the rim and meeting Taylor outside the lane. And if he gets in the lane, he's super dangerous.
DeCozy will come in. Lee back on the floor as well for Temple. Taylor, Yancey, Felix, along with Lambert and eBay on the floor for Texas.
Soft 1-2-2 pressure by Rick Barnes just to change the pace of the game. Fall back into the 2-3 zone. Challenge Temple from the perimeter, especially Will Cummings on the bench.
Dingle got loose. Really got his own miss. Here comes Texas. Taylor feeling it. That's a 3. Isaiah Taylor's got 15 of Texas's 30 points. It's the largest lead at 13.
Not a perimeter shooter, and just growing with confidence in all parts of his game.
His first 3 of the season, Coach.
Not known as a shooter at all coming out of high school, but he's worked on his game, and he looked pretty comfortable on that possession.
eBay met Lee up top for the foul.
Isaiah Taylor has just been doing it all, mostly right at the rim, but you back up to play the drive. He can start doing that. That won't be fair.
Anthony Lee, 72% at the foul line, misses the first of 2.
Looked over at Coach Barnes. Isaiah Taylor said, "See, Coach, I can shoot the ball." Run some plays for me coming off screens.
Lee has 5. Well, Texas has had to win 4 games this year while they were facing second half deadline to try to extend this lead.
I think Yancey had his best game in their previous against Vanderbilt. Another key player for Rick Barnes, that third guard in their transition offense. And when you put Holmes out on the floor, they really can stretch the defense when Felix comes in as well and put 4 around 1. And that's where Ridley can really be effective when he has a lot of space to operate in the lane.
Temple down by 16. Dingle tried to no-look it inside the lead. Still 25 of the shot clock for the Owls.
Really good look by Dingle. He was trying to make something out of nothing. And not going to be able to come back against Texas doing that. They've got to be patient and take what Texas gives them.
DeCozy, eBay met him up top, and that is a jump ball. Possession arrow keeps it with the Owls, though.
Texas has been going 2-3 zone on the baseline out of bounds play. And Will Cummings has got to try to get back involved in the offense now that he's in the game.
So I'm running on the baseline there. DeCozy will fire up a quick 3. Lee off the offensive rebound gets his 3rd bucket of the game. He's got 7 points. Got Texas right back up the floor. Nobody picked up Felix rather, out of bounds, and it'll be Temple basketball for all of us here at ESPN. Texas is 7-1. Temple is 4-3. They've both won their last 3 ball games. Texas is led by as many as 16 in the early going. The Longhorns up by 14 now with the basketball and 7:34 to go in this first half.
Well, Temple has 2 issues right now. Texas shooting 64% from the floor, but Temple has to make shots to win. I mean, they're guard oriented. They're going to take a lot of perimeter shots, and right now they're 1 for 9 from the 3. They've got to find a way to get open on the perimeter. Texas right now doing a nice job of staying attached to Temple shooters.
Yancey, good ball fake and all the way in with the jam. First bucket for the freshman from Richardson, Texas. You said guard play. Right now, Texas's guards are outplaying Temple's guards. That was our one-on-one matchup.
Well, Yancey just took Pepper and hammered it by him.
Good backdoor. Lee finds Dingle. Be a foul against Texas. They'll get eBay inside.
Well, one thing, when you play against Texas quickness, you better find angles to defend them on the perimeter. And right there, Yancey just blows by everybody, finds that angle, and there's no help on the weak side. Temple late to the party, and Yancey makes him pay.
Number 85 in the ESPN 100 rankings out of high school last year. Said it, back-to-back solid recruiting classes for the Longhorns. Lee way off target, and a whistle and a foul called. Anthony Lee picks up his 2nd. Cummings has 2, Lee has 2.
Team 8.
Watson's going to come back in for Lee here. Lambert will check in for the Longhorns. They'll shoot 1 and 1.
Well, that's what just drives you crazy as a coach. You know, you have a player takes a bad shot. Anthony Lee just drives in kind of off balance, and then he compounds the issue with an over the back foul. Has got to come out of the game, and that is exactly what's being said in a different vocabulary right now from the veteran Temple coach.
Anthony Lee, the junior from Maryland, leading returning scorer from last season. Holland makes the front end, and it'll be Temple basketball. Holland's first point of the night. Again, only 1 point for Holland, but a 15-point lead for Texas.
Well, they have balance. That's part of their MO this year. They've got a lot of guys that can hurt you in a lot of different ways. Transition game, slashing to the rim, the three-point shot, or the inside scoring.
Cummings has 2 fouls. Watson set the screen. Lambert came over for the help. Holmes pinned it against the rim.
The other thing Texas does a lot better than they did a year ago is their team defense. I mean, Rick Barnes' team has always been very stingy defensively, but they're getting after you a little bit more. They're overplaying. They help more. They'll trap a little bit more. They're playing less zone, and they block shots. About 8 per game. They're going to go up and defend the rim.
But now Holmes picks up his second foul. Cummings in the line, and the Big 12 SEC Challenge continues Tuesday. Part of our journey to the tourney, highlighting games that are going to make an impact come March, and a huge one. Andrew Wiggins leads number 6 Kansas. Tough road test in Gainesville against Casey Prather and number 15 Florida. It's on ESPN Tuesday at 7 Eastern. And also on Watch ESPN. Florida coming off that heartbreaker with Shabazz Napier put the dagger in stores the other night.
Still talking about that up in Hartford last night.
Yeah, you were there. That's right.
Over Florida and how it all went down. Connecticut clearly going to hang their hat on that win for a while. That was a great win and a great college game.
Lambert extending out. The sophomore from San Antonio knocks it down.
Well, that's what Temple's trying anything right now, just to slow Texas down. And that time they went to the 2-3 zone, and Connor Lambert has that ability. He's a very good passer from the high post, but you saw just a smooth jumper and a nice feel flashing into that vacuum, knocking down the shot.
Texas mixes up a lot of its defenses. We've seen a lot of mixing up tonight. Dingle inside, couldn't get much going, and here comes Texas on the push again. Taylor, a little short. Temple's got numbers. Pepper waited for eBay to get in the air. Good move by Dalton Pepper, who's got 5.
Well, it was a good decision by DeCozy as well. They drove the defense right under the rim where the size didn't matter. Nice transition by Temple. Because right now the size of Texas is clearly bothering Temple at the rim. Temple's trying to space the floor and get to the rim, but their help comes, and their bigs are just very dominant at the rim. When you talk about Lambert and eBay, just imposing at the rack.
Good ball movement. eBay inside will go to the free throw line. You said it, the size of the Longhorns, and think about it, they had eBay last year, they had Cameron Ridley last year, they had some big players, but their rebounding was about +1. They're at +10 this season.
Well, they've grown up a lot, and this team has better chemistry, and you see they know how to attack a zone. I mean, that's how you attack a zone. You flash in from the weak side, you get below the top of the defense and above the bottom of the defense. And when you have a guy like Lambert who can pass like that, eBay just has to slide behind and finish at the rack. This is Rick Barnes, even though he's unhappy. Ridley's in foul trouble. He lugged right now the play of his big backups.
And DeCozy, a high archer, drops it. Lambert coming in off the bench. Croker off the bench. eBay off the bench. Backed up by eBay. Here comes Temple. Trying to push the pace a little bit. Hasn't been able to do so much. Cummings all the way inside. Now a little life into the Wells Fargo center as the lead is down to 10.
Getting up on the glass, so important. They have to get in transition before Texas bigs get set in the back of the D.
A 10-4 run for the Owls. And they force a turnover. This is a DeCozy 3. Lambert squares it.
It's good play, though, by Cummings. He finally understanding that Lambert's just planting himself right below that pinch post there. The guards have to drop down a little bit for Temple to keep the ball out of that high post. Because Lambert's very effective as a shooter and a passer right in the middle of the zone D offense.
Croker steps in and buries it. DeMarcus Croker, freshman from Orlando, with his first points.
He's got this basketball team rolling. I like this team, this young team. They've got good chemistry, and they can hurt you in a lot of different ways. And they're very feisty on defense on the perimeter, and they've got great length at the rim.
Pepper on the baseline, and he stepped out. Texas shooting 60%, pounding Temple on the glass in the early going. Temple can't make a shot from the perimeter, and they're down by 15 with all that combined.
Well, they're getting pounded on the glass in Texas. When you give up the team shoots 60% against you, it's not because they're on fire. It's mostly because they're getting good looks and they're running great stuff. And right now, Texas is clicking on all cylinders.
Leaks.
Good job by Josh Brown staying attached to Fleeks, coming off that down screen.
Well, he's got Croker on the switch with the shot clock winding down. Left it off for eBay. Watson with the defense. eBay corrals. Texas continues to pound the glass. Lambert no on the tip, and now a whistle and a foul is called. Al Luss came in and he made the foul call.
eBay better be careful. He threw an elbow there himself. He swung his arms. A little frustration on eBay. That's his third foul. But Texas playing a little volleyball down on the rim. They're just their length just pushing Temple out of the way.
A couple of shots coming for the Owls. eBay with 3. Texas had 4 bench players on the floor. They still do for the time being. They'll bring Yancey back in and Taylor back in a moment. But Texas showing some of its depth.
Mark Williams for Temple is a guy that has the body and the strength to battle with Texas bigs, and he's got to be more active and get better position inside. He gives up some size, but he's got that power, so he's got to use angles and his big wide body to get up on the glass for Fran Dunphy.
Boy, a couple of misses for Watson at the line. Almost a 4-guard look here for Texas. Lambert's there big down low at 6'9". Everybody else is about 6'3" or smaller. Just about everybody touching it every time down the floor. Holland can't connect them.
Now they're very difficult to defend because this is a new look Rick Barnes team. They spread the court and they run quick offense.
Temple continues to struggle from outside. They're 1 of 11 from 3. Just weaving through passes. Taylor is short though. Pepper trying to leak out. He's got Felix with him. And a good finish by Dalton Pepper. Back down to 13.
Well, that was the first real big mistake Isaiah Taylor's made today. That was an off-balance, out-balance, wild shot that led to the easy look at the other end.
Leaks turns it over. Don't forget more college basketball tonight on ESPNU. Good doubleheader. Alabama's a much better team than you might think. They're taking on USF. Then New Mexico State taking on the dangerous Kevin Pangos and number 19 Gonzaga. Both games available on Watch ESPN. Gonzaga, their lone loss so far came in Maui to a Dayton team that played very well in Hawaii. Kevin Pangos has scored in double figures in all but one game. Their win against Coppin State, he scored just 9 points, but he's had some big games already this season.
The Big West is, the West Coast Conference is going to be outstanding.
Yep.
St. Mary's, Brigham Young is just terrific. Texas.
Rick Barnes will tell you that BYU is very good.
Tyler Hawes at the end of the Texas game. Texas looked like they had the game won, and Tyler Hawes just took it right out of their hands by himself for Brigham Young. That's
the lone loss for the Longhorns so far this season. Double technical called here. They're going to get DeCozy and Taylor on the double technical. Freshman Isaiah Taylor gets whistled for it, so does the sophomore DeCozy. 13-point game as Pepper knocks down just the second owl three of the game, and for the second time after trailing by as many as 16, it's back down to 10.
Well, that's the way Temple likes to play. They kind of run misdirection offense, and they come back at you with the handoff, and Pepper can lock and load quickly coming off the screen.
Well, if Temple gets this to single digits, Croker trying to make sure that doesn't happen as he buries a three, his second field goal. Back up to 13.
That's Quentin DeCozy. That's all on him. He's got to get up.
He has the ball in his hands late in the clock. Felix is a sophomore. He's made some big shots this year.
I think it's as time moves on, it has to be Isaiah Taylor because he has the talent, but this decision making is so important. But he will learn. He's already learned a lot in the early part of the season.
Lambert comes out high for Felix. Holland to the corner for Croker. Holland gets it off. Well short. Watson will have the ball in his hands as the clock runs down here in this first half. Wire-to-wire first half lead for the Texas Longhorns, who put up 48 on spine inside the arc. They struggled from the perimeter in that first half, and they got out-rebounded by 9 by that great Texas size. Temple goes zone to start the second half. Holmes off target and Lee the rebound.
Well, the zone, because Frank Dunphy is a smart man. He clearly knows that they're having much difficulty guarding them off the bounce.
A drive by Cummings going to the inside, and Cam Ridley is going to pick up his third foul right out of the gate at the 1942 mark here. Ridley, that big 285-pound body inside. Call for the third. See, the first half, Pepper had 10 on 3 buckets. But Cummings, their leading scorer, had just 6. He's averaging 18.
That's where the Temple guards have to do a better job. And Ridley naturally comes over to help. He's got to be careful because he has to understand the moment in the situation. He cannot come over and pick up that early foul like that, even when his guards get beat off the bounce.
Pepper nearly stole it free. Temple, for the third time since they trailed by as many as 16, has cut the lead back down to 10. Texas with solid balance. It was Isaiah Taylor in the first half, though, getting off to that great start. 6 of 9 for the floor with a couple of assists as well. Great ball movement. Almost everybody touches it on every trip when they set up in the half court.
Right now, though, Adam, Temple's guards are so extended out and worried about the perimeter players of Texas on the three-point line. I think they have to back down a little bit. I mean, on that possession, Cummings was so far out extended, way beyond the NBA line on Holland, that the foul line was just wide open. He's got to kind of play in the middle so he can protect the line, but also get back out and contest on the perimeter.
McDonald picked up his second foul. He guards Holmes now in the man-to-man for Temple.
Fran Duffy saw the same thing on the sideline. He could have drove a truck in the middle of the foul line.
Taylor didn't pick up that pivot foot, but good defense by Cummings. Here comes Temple on the push. Cummings trying to get going here in the second half, and Taylor will get called for his third foul.
Well, Will Cummings got into some early foul trouble in the first half, and clearly was bothered by Isaiah Taylor's ability to get into the lane, and never got into a rhythm, but he's kind of come out of the half with a bounce in his step.
And with Taylor off the floor, let's see if Cummings tries to take advantage of DeMarcus Holland on defense. Already 3 fouls in the first minute plus on the Longhorns here in the second half.
I think Holland's a better defender than Taylor, but clearly they're a better offensive team than Taylor on the floor.
Holland is down for the Longhorns. He's behind.
More depth. Isaiah Taylor with 3 fouls. He comes right out of the game. No problem with a guy like Felix can run the team while he's on the bench, where Will Cummings picked up his third and Fran Dunphy's contemplated on the sideline. I don't think he can take him out of the game down by 12. Good job by Felix, taking away Cummings' strength. The bounce off his right hand.
Off the screen, Pepper buries his second 3 of the game. He's got 13 to lead the Owls, and finally Temple gets back to within single digits. First time since it was 26 to 17.
They're doing a little bit what BYU did to Texas. They're just running people off those simple down screens. Pepper came off, locked and loaded, but Temple fell asleep on the other end.
Yancey scores on one end, Lee on the pick and roll right at the other, and he's got 11. Croker against DeCozy. Out to Yancey. In and out. McDonald would box out. And here comes Temple. Cummings in traffic, out and stripped away by Croker.
Looked like there was clearly some contact on that drive. There was certainly as much contact there as there was on Cummings' last foul at the rim.
Again, Cummings playing with 3 fouls guarding Felix. Croker inside to Holmes, using that strength, those broad shoulders to get Lee out of the way.
That started, though, with the dribble penetration and the ability of Croker to find that angle on the baseline. Temple has to close that out much sooner with weak side help.
With Yancey on Pepper, he steps away. Left that 3 short. Felix in the lane. McDonald couldn't squeeze, neither could Lee. Felix inside. Good ball movement, and Holmes is into double figures.
But again, Adam, that started with Javon Felix just driving the ball in.
It feels like more often than not. Showing the depth of that guard position for the Longhorns. Now, eBay has 3 fouls, and so does Ridley in the front court, so Lambert's going to have to play bigger minutes here in the second half, but Texas showing off that depth. Cummings, step back. Yes. First field goal of the second. He's got 9 points.
Here again, Felix just rushing up the floor. Better job of Temple getting back, setting their 5, making Texas play half court.
He's going to play both man and zone already in the second half. This is the zone. Felix on the opposite side. And Temple gets a rebound out of that zone. Always tough to do against a big team like Texas. And a foul is called on Martez Walker, and that'll take us to a timeout on the floor. 56-45, Longhorns lead the out. Teams are on a 3-game win streak. First time meeting in Philadelphia since 1939. It's the 6th time these 2 teams are meeting overall.
Well, Will Cummings is so aggressive in the last few possessions offensively, trying to get this team going. And defensively, they're just settling in a little better on the backboards.
Pepper to Cummings. Temple continues to struggle from the outside. 3 of 15 from three-point range in the game. So 21 to shoot off the leg of Lee. DeMarcus Holland comes back in. He did take a knee to the thigh from Jimmy McDonald. That's what sent him to the bench, but he's back out there now. As Croker, who tried to make a no-look pass inside, comes quickly to the bench.
Thomas has to be aware of Limmert in the middle of this zone. He's a very effective passer. They get in their 1-3-1 high-low offense. They cannot extend out too far because that will open up the middle of the floor.
Great ball movement, and it leads to a Walker 3. Lambert the offensive rebound against that zone defense of Temple.
Connor Lambert's got those long arms.
Cummings to Pepper on the break. Dalton Pepper's got 15 to lead the Owls back down to an 11-point game.
Temple doing a better job of knowing where Lambert is and crowding him when he gets it.
They rotate to Holland. Lee couldn't squeeze it. Lambert, those long arms make an impact. Walker misses on the follow. Here comes Temple.
Temple feistier around the rim with their activity.
Cummings. Teardrop wouldn't fall. Holland. Say a foul against Temple. Looks like a couple of shots are coming as McDonald picks up his third foul.
That was a bailout by McDonald. I mean, Holland had really nowhere to go. It was 1 against 3. He should have just backed up and used his length at the rim. Instead, he puts him on the foul line.
Holland averaging 12, has just 2 so far tonight. McDonald and Cummings to the bench as they bring Williams and Nigel.
Texas has really shown their versatility today, Adam, with the foul situations. You know, Rick hasn't had to panic with guys get 3. He just takes them out of the game, and he'll bring eBay in for length. Lambert is just a real good backup big guy who can play the 4 or the 5. Holmes can slide in at the 4. He can play out on the wing. So they've got a lot of guys that are very interchangeable.
We've seen 2 guards, we've seen 3 guards, we've seen 4 guards from Texas already today. Lee looking for Williams. And it'll be Texas ball. College basketball continues tonight on ESPN. You can doubleheader. Virginia, their only losses to VCU on a buzzer beater and Wisconsin in a slugfest the other night. Meanwhile, North Carolina still trying to figure out. 5 and 7 Eastern tonight. You'll see those 2 teams on ESPN. You would watch ESPN. Wins over Louisville, over Michigan State the other night. Losses to a good Belmont team and a UAB team that a lot of people might not know about, but it's a lot better than people think.
Is that what you call that Virginia-Wisconsin game? A slugfest? How about a mudfest? With all due respect to defense.
Of
all
course.
due respect to both coaches.
Well, Kaminsky goes out for 40+. We're thinking, oh, well, Wisconsin's going to put more points on the board this year. Then we get right back to the old Bo Ryan.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I
get
a coach defense like Bo Ryan or
I
Tony Bennett, I would
absolutely.
be sitting next to you, that's for sure. And those guys can both coach defense.
I don't know why you're sitting next to me to begin with.
Well, we're enjoying this game. And right now, Rick Barnes is using his bench very actively, as he said he would before the game. He said he has to keep developing his bench and rest his starters a little bit more.
DeCozy knocks down a 3. That's been an issue for Temple today. 7 points for DeCozy, and it's down to 8, as close as Temple has been since they trail by 16.
Gritty. Temple knocked on their back many times, but still hanging in.
Holland from Lambert. In and out. Who wants the rebound? Picked up by Yancey.
Temple has to be very careful. That time Lambert caught the ball in the middle of the zone. 4 guys attacked him and left Holland wide open. They just need to guard him one-on-one there.
Leaks from the elbow. Just 4 of 13 in this half for the Longhorns. They had missed 7 straight until that make by Felix.
Temple has to make some adjustments with their zone. They're really going too far in when the ball goes in. They just need to cover Lambert with 1 player instead of 3 or 4. He's such a good passer. He's finding the open man.
Williams to Pepper to Dingle. Over eBay. Loose ball to Lee. Fresh shot clock. Inside Williams, and eBay deterred, but caught call for the foul. Couple of shots coming for Daniel Dingle. Sophomore out of the Bronx. And eBay now has 4 fouls at the 12:06 mark. And we've seen it. eBay and Ridley and Lambert, they've all done a nice job. Holmes as well. But now Prince eBay with 4. He's their best big body down low, or longest body down low, I should say. We'll see how Texas reacts defensively.
Well, Temple's done a better job in the second part of this game with their patience against Texas. Okay. Earlier in the game, I think they were kind of rushing their offense a little bit, and the length was bothering. Now they've spaced the floor. They've kind of settled in, taken what they've given them, and now they've got the ball in the middle of the floor. They've reversed it, and their guards have become more aggressive.
Free throws for Williams. Owls went just 5 of 10 for the foul line in the first half. Freshman Josh Brown comes in for Dingle. We got Pepper and Williams. Along with Watson, DeCozy, and Brown. That's the 5 out there for Temple. Texas with Lambert and Felix and Yancey. Holmes and Holland as well. 12 minutes left in Philly. Pick and roll.
Here is a fun group to coach, and you talk to Rick and he just kind of lights up with a smile. I saw him at the media day for the Big 12, and he said, I think we're going to be better than people think, and I can see why. He's got a lot of options on the floor. They play with toughness, and they've got a lot of character and depth and versatility, as we spoke about.
9-point game, still plenty of time. Both teams riding 3-game win streaks. Wells Fargo Center in Philly, Adam Amin, for Providence head coach Tim Welsh. 7-1 Texas, 4-3 Temple. Good early season matchup. Williams on Lambert. And Williams will draw the foul. Go to the free throw line. And eBay and Ridley both saddled with foul trouble. Lambert, who's been playing the bulk of the minutes with those 2 on the bench, picks up just his first foul.
Well, that was a good move by Mark Williams. I didn't think he had much room to operate in there, but using his physicality, he likes to roam on the perimeter a little bit too much. But the other night against St. Joe's, he made some good plays around the basket against Ronald Roberts Jr., the terrific big man for St. Joe's. And he has to be a little bit more consistent on the baseline and in the lane for Fran Dumpy, and that time he showed a good will and strength.
Temple is 8 of 15 at the free throw line so far in this game. Williams is 3 of 4 at the free throw stripe. Texas had a good first half shooting the basketball, 51%, but they've slowed down significantly here in the second. Lambert. Job by Brown to get the rebound in that zone. Post up Lee on Lambert. Pepper looking for space. Williams tried to find Lee.
The Temple zone's it's been pretty effective. Even though Lambert's got the ball into the middle, they've done a better job of not giving them that second opportunity. Their guards have slid in and done a good job on the backboards.
Cummings back in, their leading scorer. Brown takes a breather. Cummings averaging 18 a game, has 9 so far tonight. DeCozy, he's hit 2 straight. Here comes Texas.
That was a little quick by DeCozy. He was contested and they had a full shot clock.
Temple stays in the zone. Shot clock down to 8.
That Pepper is extended way too far out of the top.
Yancey doing it himself, taking it inside. Yancey saved it. Fresh shot clock for Texas.
This is what happens, Adam, when you extend too far out. 1, you open up the middle of the floor, and 2, you're not in position to rebound. Here, look at Pepper. He's way out past the NBA line. He doesn't have to be that far out. He needs to pitch in.
Good position inside by DeCozy. They'll get Lambert for his second foul. Went over the back that time. Ridley and Taylor coming to the scorer's table, and they'll check in for Texas. Already 6 team fouls now on the Longhorns. Holmes and Yancey go to the bench. They'll leave Holmes out there. I wonder if Lambert's going to get a breather. He will.
Well, it's nice to be aggressive when you're playing a zone defense, but there's a fine line. If you're too aggressive and you overextend, then that leaves way too many gaps underneath or behind you. And right now, Temple has to do a little bit better job of tightening up their zone coverage on the backside.
Temple foul away from the basketball, and that'll turn it over. Get Anthony Lee.
Temple tries to set up numerous screens on the baseline. Anthony Lee that time got caught sliding.
I think they actually end up tagging Williams with it. Lee was in the midst of things, so they'll get Williams on the back end of that. Oh, you're right, Coach. They did get Lee. So that is 3 now on Lee. They announced Williams, but officially scored as a foul on Lee. Felix. There's Ridley's big body making an impact right off the bench.
It's just Anthony Lee not looking to block out or pin up Ridley on the backside. You got to tag that big fella.
Felix with a foul.
Now watch on the backside here in a zone. You got to go find this guy. Nobody on Temple. They watch the ball instead of looking at Ridley. They leave him wide open, and the big fella. That's easy money for him. You got to put 1, maybe 2 bodies on that guy.
12 offensive rebounds for the Longhorns already. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the first half, or rest of the game, I should say. Broker back in. Felix is out. Cozy, who's hit 2 threes here in the second half, has 11 points.
It's hard to keep him off the glass with his mass, but you have to go out and just position yourself in front of him and not let him have that angle to the rim. And that time Temple did not even look to block him out.
Lee's matched up with Ridley. A steal by Pepper. Lee running the floor. He's got 13, and it's down to 7
on the backside.
4 double-doubles this season for Lee already. But Temple continues to struggle at the free throw line today. The Owls are 73% on the season. They've missed 9 free throws, though, today. This is the 20th free throw of the day for the Owls.
Let's keep a good eye on Temple's defense. How their 2-3 zone operates, especially pinning up Ridley, making sure they wrap around him on the backside.
6-point game. Steal by Cummings. DeCozy got it blocked by Ridley. Loose ball, and here comes Holland. Numbers for Texas. And Holland will go to the free throw line on the other side of this break. swing of momentum right there, but
had a little plan for down in that game. I think they're taking down the Knolls. They're taking down the Knolls.
What
tonight.
A call!
You heard it here.
Timmy Welsh
in South Philly
going out. I don't want to say on a limb necessarily. David Cutcliffe, Walter Camp National Coach of the Year.
Football school.
They are
now,
a football school.
What a great story in Durham.
Holland splits a pair. It's a 7-point game. The Temple student section has gotten back into it a little bit. And here comes Temple trying to make a push. Here's Cummings. Spinning on Taylor, arching it over Ridley.
If you're Rick Barnes, you say excellent defense, but Temple somehow, some way makes something out of nothing when Will Cummings has the ball in his hands at the end of the clock.
Taylor off the window, no. Temple ball.
Well, Will Cummings had nothing there at all. They just were dribbling around the perimeter, but Taylor getting a little schooled here on the spin in the late recovery from the big fella at the foul line.
As close as Temple has been since the early going in the first half when we got off to a very quick pace. Pepper's got Taylor on him. Ridley comes over for the help, and Holmes comes over for the rejection. Texas basketball with 6.5 remaining.
Well, Temple still cannot get away from what got him back in this game, and that's good ball movement and good player movement. The last couple possessions, they've been standing around on the perimeter, just dribbling in place. Cummings bailed them out on the previous possession, but they've got to get more movement on the offensive end.
Texas struggling shooting here in the second half. 6 of 21 from the floor. A jump ball forced by DeCozy, and Temple has the possession arrow. Reached in and got all ball on Taylor, and it's Temple basketball.
Isaiah Taylor had so much confidence earlier in the game, and then he got in a little bit of foul trouble, sat for a while. Since he's come back in the game, Will Cummings had said, "This is Philly, and I'm a junior, you're a freshman."
We said at the backcourt matchup, the guard play between these two teams is going to be essential. Pepper to Lee. 3-point game.
That's what we're talking about. Ball movement and player movement by Temple. Ball reversal or player movement into the gaps.
Holmes got loose inside and drew the bump against Anthony Lee. Now Lee was called for a foul earlier in the game. They switched the foul and did end up putting that one on Mark Williams earlier. So that one is only the third on Anthony Lee. We got an official scorer's change during one of the media timeouts. So that's a break for Temple.
Miscommunication on that basic out of bounds play. Kind of in the almost in the corner, which is dead man's corner. A difficult play to run. Difficult area to run a play, but Temple got confused on the cuts to the rim.
Both teams leaving points on the floor. 10 free throw misses by Texas as Holmes splits a pair. 4-point game.
Well, this is the matchup we thought we'd see at the end of the game. Holland on Cummings.
Pepper off target. Ridley skying for the rebound. Holland and Cummings guarding each other. A switch now.
Temple switch back to the man-to-man.
Got it into Ridley, but good defense by DeCozy. He finds Cummings on the push.
Great defensive play, but good push, but even a better recognition by Cozy. Head up. like Dingle's length at the top of the 2-3. I think they got confused. Now the switchback.
Cummings staying with Holland. Lost the handle. Here comes Pepper to tie the game. Temple has never led. They trail by as many as 16, but they've come all the way back to tie the game at 68.
Well, Temple's defense very active with their hands, communication, gaining confidence, and Pepper all the way to the rack. Clearly a goaltend up on the glass. Adam, Texas has to settle down. I like Felix with the ball in his hands. He's kind of the headiest, most experienced guard at making plays. They have to try to go inside at Anthony Lee. He doesn't like a lot of physical contact. He's got three fouls. I'd go right at Anthony Lee if I'm Texas.
Holland. Tapped back in by Ridley. Temple wanted offensive basket interference, but none doing. It looked like it was off the cylinder. Ridley into double figures, and it's a 2-point game with 4 minutes remaining.
Oh, that was smart offense by Texas. Attack the baseline, attack the lane, attack Temple's bigs.
DeCozy off the screen. Lee rolled, tried to get free, and Lambert's length causes havoc. Here comes Felix. Euro step in off in the second half. Temple heating up. And 3.5 to decide a winner. Two teams riding 3-game win streaks.
Activity, length, feistiness on the defensive end, and Anthony Lee coming to play.
Felix off the heel. Temple has not led in this game today. Pepper. Cummings tried to tap it free in traffic. Got it blocked. Lee is there. Lee again. And he'll go to the line. Four fouls on Cameron Ridley.
It's almost like Temple forgot that they were in Philadelphia in the first 35 minutes of this game. But all of a sudden they said, wait a minute, this is not our campus, but we're in Philly. We're going to play feisty. We're going to get after it. And instead of getting pushed around by Texas, they're starting to push back.
And for the first time today, the Owls have the lead. $19 points for Anthony Lee.
Well, it's been their offense. They've run better offense over the course of the second half, but clearly their defense, their ability not only to get to the first stop, but their backside rebounding, their activity, and their ability to turn it over and turn it into easy buckets at the other end has benefited Temple, but they cannot overextend. Pepper has to be careful at the top. And again, Texas, I would go right in the lane, go to Ridley, put pressure on the backside of their defense and in the paint.
Brown kicked it. Shot clock resets to 15.
On that possession, both Holmes and Ridley were planted on the low box. One of them has to flash into that dotted area in the mid-paint area just to put some pressure on the top of Temple's defense to drop down. That will be open.
The trap in the corner, and Rick Barnes on the shot clock here. Leaks to inbound. They'll put it in the hands of the sophomore guard. Felix lost it. Pepper has Cummings with him. Pepper takes it himself. Three-point lead. 2.5 to go. Pepper another knock away. And Temple forces another turnover. And Cummings slows it down.
That's a veteran player right there, Will Cummings. He's taken over the leadership of this team. And These Philly fans are alive. They were sleeping for a while, but Temple's giving them something to cheer about. But somehow, some way, get the ball inside against his zone without leaving their feet on balance. They can't do it right away, though. They have to have some patience.
Pepper fires. Well short. Loose on the deck, and it will be a traveling violation against Kendall Yancey, who's on the deck for it.
More importantly, it gives Temple a fresh clock after an air ball situation.
Dangerous pass. DeCozy got it, and Yancey came flying in. And he'll send DeCozy to the free throw line. 2 shots coming for the Owls now.
You talk about inexperience, Adam. That is inexperience. When you're a freshman, you learn through the years, after many film sessions with old Coach Rick, you don't make that play.
Temple having its issues at the free throw stripe today. 12 of 23 on the game. Texas not much better. Texas 15 of 25 from the free throw line. 2 crucial misses for DeCozy. Still a 1-possession game with 1:50 left. Cummings with a foul out on the perimeter. SWAC championship game coming up next. Jackson State taking on Southern. We'll send you to Houston as soon as we're done here. 9 team fouls against Temple, so it'll be a 1-and-1 coming here for Holland.
Well, against the 2-3 zone, when they're setting that ball screen out on the perimeter on Holland, there's no reason for Will Cummings to try to fight over the top. The other guard can give him support from the weak side, and then the forward can support the guard. So Fran Dumpy wasn't happy with that foul on the perimeter.
Second one coming for Holland. He himself is 4 of 9 from the free throw line. 56% on the season, trying to come up with 2 big makes. Tipped up by Holmes, loose on the floor. Holland came out with it. Jump ball is the call, and Texas has the possession arrow. Ray Natili made the call on this side of the floor.
2 things you know from this game after watching is no free throws automatic and no rebounds automatic. Nothing has been clean because it's been body on body, hand on hand combat around the rim.
Yep. Looking for Ridley. Those long arms get in there. Missed the easy one. Tapped out loose, and Hal Lust calls a foul against Anthony Lee. That'll be the 4th foul on Lee. That's the 10th foul on Temple, so 2 shots are coming.
I mean, I don't know how you find a foul in this mess, but I guess there's something there somewhere.
Right there, you think?
That's a pretty good call.
Got him with the elbow right in the chest, so that sends Holmes to the foul line. Jonathan Holmes at 6'8" is actually one of the better free throw shooters on Texas.
So again, you see the power of Holmes and Ridley on the baseline and how Temple's struggled to handle it in the last couple of possessions around the basket, and that's why I think Texas should go right inside against this 2-3 zone.
2 timeouts apiece, 90 ticks on the clock, tie ball game in Philly. Lee traveled with the basketball. We're going to see for these 2 teams, we talked about it, you and I saw Temple at the beginning of the season, who's going to have the ball in their hands for Fran Dunphy's team. We're going to see it over the course of the season for Texas. Who's going to have the ball in the crucial moments?
You can screen the back of this zone with plays you can run to get the ball inside. They're going to look to go to Ridley.
Holland into Lee, flipped it up, no. Lee lost it, Holland got it. A whistle and a foul on the Longhorns. Jonathan Holmes will get called for it. That's his fourth.
That play was made by Anthony Lee. He just came over on the weak side as the dribble drive into the gap and just walled up inside and did a nice job of protecting the basket without foul. Anthony Lee, good job protecting Holland, kind of out of control inside, and held their ground.
Lee for the lead. He knew that one was off target as soon as he shot it. Still tied, 60 seconds left. Ridley posting up down low against Lee.
They're trying to get it into Ridley, but they've got to overload the defense like they are right now, or maybe skip wide to Taylor.
Holland flipped it up.
With Anthony Lee.
Cummings against Holland, the matchup we highlighted at the top. Lee the screen. Here comes Cummings. Knocked out of bounds. Still 3 on the shot clock for Temple.
Barnes, let's see what D he puts up. Usually he...
Lee's out there, Brown's out there, DeCozy's out there.
Watch the quick throw back to Cummings.
It comes all the way out to DeCozy for the lead. Shot clock violation. Still time. 4.2 seconds left. And Texas has 2 timeouts.
I'll give Texas a ton of credit on that baseline out of bounds defensively. And then call another timeout to run a sideline out of bounds play.
Felix will inbound. 4.8 left. Holmes back to Felix. Time running out. Felix for the win. Off the heel and off to OT. Temple ends regulation on a 17-0. Something to keep an eye on for the next 5 minutes. Off we go in overtime, and Temple has the possession. Dalton Pepper. Williams look for Lee inside. Here he is against Ridley. Big double-double tonight for Anthony Lee. That's the 5th foul on Ridley.
Well, again, Temple spacing the court, moving the ball, moving the men, getting that isolation down low, and Ridley, you see a lot there, but other than that, the big fella taking a seat.
Finishes his night with 11 points. eBay will come in. Remember, eBay's got 4 fouls as well. And Anthony Lee trying to finish off a 3-point play. Temple has missed 5 straight free throws. Lee missed a couple of them down the stretch too, which may have ended up putting the game away.
That was a good post up by Anthony Lee. He worked to get open. He got big and demanded the ball in the box and then finished.
SWAC championship available on ESPN3 and watch ESPN right now. We'll send you to Houston as soon as we're done in Philly in overtime. You can also check it out on ESPN News right now. That's where the SWAC championship is here. Shot clock inside 10. Holland has it. In the middle of the zone to Lambert.
Advantage Temple just to cut the ball, on one side of the floor, and then Lambert just to rush that shot at the end of the clock.
Posting up Lee again, this time against eBay. Cummings against Holland. eBay came over to help defensively. Taylor hasn't scored since the 9:25 mark of the first half. That one is ticked in by eBay.
Well, Adam, the move I like that Rick Barnes has made is putting DeMarcus Holland on Will Cummings. He's kind of quieted him down, that length, that ability to cut off angles to the rim, and Will Cummings has been very quiet since Holland started defending.
One of the matchups we thought was going to be impactful at the top, and it has been here in the second half and overtime. Williams against Lambert with eBay's help. That forces a traveling violation.
Well, this is what happened in the first half, just the length of Texas' bench. eBay defensively coming over from the weak side. He has to be able to move and react, and then coming down the floor, nobody puts a body on the Longhorn.
Taylor had 15 in the first 10.5 minutes. He hasn't scored since. Taylor trying to step around Williams. Lee with the rebound. Cummings corrals it, and Taylor slaps it away from behind.
Taylor had that little step through at the other end. Used to be a little bit frustrated playing against the zone. Texas has not been able to get much in transition in the second half and overtime.
So Holland is guarding Pepper here. Cummings coming back up towards the top. Nobody was really on him for a second. He finds Williams. Got it blocked by eBay. eBay making a big impact in overtime. Taylor just flipped it up, spinning out of control. And Temple takes over with 2.5 remaining in overtime.
Prince eBay just making his presence felt defensively. And he was a valuable backup in possessions in a row. Mark Williams had nowhere to go. He's got to pitch that ball back out.
Texas averages about 7.5 blocks a game. They've got 8 tonight. DeCozy seeking space. And a traveling violation is first. More solid defense by the Longhorns here in the first 3.5 of overtime. Or the first 3 of overtime.
Really nowhere to go. I'm not sure I saw the walk, but nowhere to go. Temple has to be patient. Just keep moving the ball. Now they're playing into the hands of Texas.
Texas both have struggled at the line.
Will Cummings out of the game, but even in the last 5 or 6 minutes, Anthony Lee has been the answer for Temple. So we have to make sure, Josh Brown has to make sure, as now the point guard, that Anthony Lee gets involved with touches in the paint.
Holland hit the floor. Pepper got it blocked by eBay. Another block for Prince eBay. Holland all the way to the rim, and he gets fouled. With 4 fouls, Prince eBay is deterring everything inside.
Well, 2 things when you're an offensive player. You have to know when you're open, and you have to know who's defending you. And here, Dalton Pepper, that's not a guard guarding him. That's Prince eBay, a 6'10" shot blocker on the perimeter.
eBay has 4 blocks tonight. And Holland at the free throw line. He's got 5 points, all of them at the stripe. He's averaging 12 a ball game. Second leading scorer for Texas. Splits a pair. 3-point game. 90 seconds remain. Here's eBay guarding Dingle. Dumps it off for Lee against eBay.
Something out of nothing. Dingle got caught in the jam, but Lee bailed him out. He hooked the ball to the top, but Anthony Lee is bailing Temple out.
Yancey. Temple basketball. And it was Anthony Lee once again making an impact. His defense forced Yancey out, and Temple with a chance at the lead.
Well, he is feeling it right now, but Temple has to understand they've got to go to him. Last time they kind of went to him by accident. They've got to run something for him. I like a little pick and roll here.
Dingle on the deck. eBay comes over for the help. A whistle and a foul and 2 shots coming. They'll get Holmes on that foul, and that is the 5th foul on Jonathan Holmes. Dingle's going to the free throw line. You see Temple's struggles at the free throw stripe. They've missed 6 in a row and 8 of their last 10. $16 points, 8 rebounds for Jonathan Holmes tonight as he exits. He's out. Cam Ridley's out. Will Cummings out for Temple.
Daniel Dingle, that's 2 real good plays in a row.
That's right.
At a time where they needed somebody to make something happen off the bounce. With Will Cummings on the bench. Now Rick Barnes in the chess match has to figure out where we're going to get the best shot against the 2-3 zone. I mean, eBay doesn't present a lot of offensive ability on the low box, but got to somehow find
on ESPN News right now. We'll send you there when we're done in Philly. 1-point lead, Temple in overtime. Taylor's got nowhere to go. Lambert helps him out.
Always got to try to get into the gaps with that quickness, and Rick Barnes sees that. He said, what are you doing? You're dribbling the ball out towards midcourt. They have to attack much sooner against the zone. Dribble drive into the gap. Watch Holland running the baseline, looking opposite. If they get into the gap, look for DeMarcus Holland for a 3.
Here's Felix. Felix, the turn. Lambert corralled it, and a whistle and a foul against Temple. They'll get DeCozy for the foul. 2 shots for the Longhorns.
Well, Rick Barnes got his point across in the timeout. He said, guards get into the gaps, and Taylor and Felix both attempted just to break the defense down. And when that happens, this is what happens. The defense gets out of position, and they reach and foul.
Lambert, very good free throw shooter, but just 9 of 10 on the season.
Well, all the good free throw shooters throw it out the window today. Something's in the air. No one can make a foul shot.
Texas is
block out on this free throw because they've had issues with that all day.
Lambert missed it. Pepper grabs the rebound.
Against St. Joe's, Temple had everybody off the line. Anthony Lee missed the free throw, and St. Joe's forgot to box out the shooter. So Texas cannot fall asleep. They have to understand that Dalton Pepper is still involved in the play.
Thought he left it short and then stepped into the lane too soon to try to chase it down. He got a little too antsy there, and it's just a 2-point game. 13 seconds remain. Felix for the lead. A three is good. 6.7 remains. No timeouts for Temple.
Gonna drive it to the rim.
Here's Pepper. Pepper for the win. No, and Texas wins it in overtime.